Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Dream Team Tonic podcast, episode number 59. I'm Tony. With me, as usual, is Ben. You there, Ben?
Hi, mate. How are you doing?
All good, mate. And James, are you there?
Just about, Tony.
Just about. Heavy night last night, the fantasy football meetup. We was thinking we might have to substitute you out for tonight, but you've made it, so that's good.
Yeah, I've soldiered on, boys.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Right. First off, anybody interested in more Dream Team Tonic content, get yourself across to our Patreon at patreon.com/Dream Team Tonic. It is the lowest tier is cheaper than a Costa coffee, hot chocolate. That's been price checked. It gives you lots more content and access to our Discord group, which is a great set of lads in there and all doing really well within the mini leagues and stuff. Gives you early access to the pods. Got Ben's fixtures on there. We got a watch list going on. Got Tony's top 25 in form and James's transfer checklist. There's all sorts going on in there. It's really handy. We pretty much guarantee it'll improve your rank. So yeah, if you're interested in that, get across to there.
Don't forget the After Hours pod.
The After Hours podcast. Yeah, we've got so much going on. Like so much more content. And like I say, it's cheap as chips. So get yourself over there and just have a read. If you have any questions, hit us up at Dream Team Tonic on Twitter. We'll answer anything. Order of the evening tonight. We're going to go for our team performances. We've got a nice new segment, Meet the Manager, and we've got the one and only Mr. Bite Size himself, Dan Cox. He's going to be the first man on there. We're going to have a look through his team as well. See what his plans are for moving forward. Then we've got the listener questions. We've got the Cash League top 10, the Patreon top 10. We're going to have an update on the Differential League. And then we'll close and we'll get James off to bed before he passes out. But yeah, so straight in, Ben. You were first up this week, mate. How's your team done?
Yeah, 32 points. Not great. 1,707 points now. So I did a couple of transfers. I got Jota in there, so obviously we know he's going to miss this week. So I fancied Harry Kane. I didn't expect him to bang against Man City. I was more looking at the fixtures after that. So anything that happened against Man City was a bonus, really.
Yeah.
He's got Leeds. Sorry, he's got Burnley, then Leeds, then Middlesbrough before we get the new transfers. So that's what I was targeting. I could have afforded Son, but I wanted Harry Kane. I just prefer him, and he just seems to suit the Dream Team algorithm. And he's only gone and got star man and 18 points.
Yeah, not penalties as well, isn't he?
Penalties, yeah. So, and I could only do that if I did another transfer. I still had 3 transfers yesterday, so I took out Edison, who has 3 fixtures left this month, but he's likely to miss the FA Cup game as well. So I thought I'll bring in another goalkeeper. I've gone for Hugo Lloris. So hoping he should play the 4 games and I should gain points on that transfer.
Yeah.
And then I'll look at it again next month and maybe try and get a stronger keeper back in then. So at the back, I've got Lloris -2. She's got booking. Time wasting. Virgil van Dijk, 3 points. Robertson didn't play, rested. Cancelo, 1 point. Alexander-Arnold didn't play, wasn't even in the squad.
No.
But I'll imagine he's been rested. Bruno Silva. Bernardo Silva, 0. Kevin De Bruyne, 0. Bowen, -1. Yellow card. Sterling, 0. It's a bit mad, this, isn't it? Like, last week it was all about the midfielders. Now, this week there's no scores. And then up front we've got Salah, 13 points, and Kane, 18. So, yeah.
Top heavy. They've carried the team there, haven't they?
Yeah.
Kane and
Struggling until they got some goals.
Yeah. Did the business though, didn't they?
Yeah. How'd you get on, Tony?
Over to mine. Well, I made my last transfer on Thursday night. It was between Jota and Maddison to take out, obviously with the Jota injury and then Maddison going off, which I thought were a bit more serious than what it actually was. More an illness rather than an injury. So anyway, I went for Jota, took Jota out with the value, and I already kept Rudiger through the couple of weeks that they weren't playing. So I thought get on the Chelsea train a little bit earlier, as we discussed on the last pod. So I threw in Thiago Silva to join Rudiger for a double up at the back.
Nice.
That was the last transfer. 43 points this week. Edison -2. Diaz -2. Cancelo got 1 point. Obviously, you've got a 7+ rating. Rudiger and Thiago both got me 8 points apiece, which were nice. Paid off a little bit. De Bruyne 0. Bowen -1. Bit of a sickener, really. On his single game week. And Maddison 0. Come on off the bench. Didn't do out. Elliott didn't play. And then, same as you, mate. The Salah and Kane front two. Literally carrying the team other than my Chelsea couple.
Yeah.
But other than that, there weren't many points around. So I'm happy with 43, really, in that team. I've seen a lot lower scores. I think it's very mid-range, 43. There's some decent scores around, maybe 60 odd, but 43 is not too bad. So no transfers left. We'll just have to ride with it, see how it goes, and hopefully no injuries until March. What about you, James?
Yeah, 37 points this week, fairly middle of the road score. Although, like you say, I've seen some horrific stores out there. If people haven't got Kane and Salah, they're going to struggle this week, aren't they?
Yeah.
So Edison got me -2. Trent and Robbo didn't play. Cancelo won. I brought in Rudiger this week for Jota, and he rewarded me with 8 points. And then nothing in the midfield, -1 from Bowen. Silva, De Bruyne, and Moira still in my team, all got 0. And Kane and Salah up top, bailing me out, basically.
Moira lost his place, did he, to Kulusevski?
Yeah, he's on the chopping block. I'm wondering if I might take a punt on Diaz, but I'm going to think about that. And we've got the midweek fixtures to look at still as well, just to see if anyone else emerges in that price bracket. But Moira will be going down again this week, I imagine. So he'll probably be leaving my team on Thursday night.
Yeah, definitely the one to be moving on, isn't he?
My best team is holding fire and around 50th. It's actually 56th place at the moment. It was as high as 25th. I think I mentioned that last week. But so I need to come up with a cunning plan to get into the upper echelons.
Chelsea bot.
Well, we've got a question about Chelsea later on, so I'll answer my thoughts on Chelsea block at that point.
Yeah, we'll touch on that a little bit later. Ben, how's your best side doing now, mate? I know you were just outside the top 100, weren't you?
Yeah, I was 111th yesterday, and it's dropped to 124th today because I was all out yesterday. Didn't have any players playing today.
So not too big of a hit today with like Fernandes and
I think a few of them had Bruno. And maybe Maguire. Yeah.
My best team did all right because I dropped down to like 490th, I think, last week. I had a bit of a stinker. I think it's climbed up to about 340th again. So a decent climb, about 150th places. Just hopefully like midweek games are nice to be again and start getting towards that top 100.
Is that your pod team the best team?
No, my pod team is miles off. Pod team. Right. It's it's not done great with pod team, to be honest. I know you're notorious, Ben, for once you make a team your pod team, it seems to fly. I think your pod team is very, very close to my best team.
It's 417th now.
Yeah, it's not far off off my best team. That.
Yeah, it's flying at the minute.
Doing really well.
Started very slowly though.
Yeah. We discussed that, haven't we, about you liking to come from the back.
Ben coming up the rear.
Late riser.
Yeah, great stuff. Good to see. Right, yeah, we'll move on to our Meet the Manager segment. New to the podcast. We're gonna see how this goes, see how people enjoy this. But yeah, so here we have Mr. Bite Size himself, top Sky fantasy football player, top Dream Team player, Dan Cox. You there, Dan?
Hello, mate. How's it going?
Oh, good, pal. Great to finally have you on. I know we've discussed this for quite a while, really, since the pod started, but good to finally have you here.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, mate. And I don't know about great Dream Team player anymore, mate. I think that was used to be all right, but not the last 7 or 8 years. I don't think.
You got past yourself by a day. You're selling yourself a bit short there.
Do you know? Ever since they changed it to the 5 transfers a month and the price changes, I struggled. Like I liked it back in the day when it was like you get 3 transfer windows a season and no price changes. And I don't know, really. I guess that's with anything. The more time I put into Sky, the worse I got as Sun. So
Yeah,
I think that's it, really.
yeah. What's your best ever rank? Sun Dream Team.
I came third in 12-13 season. Back in about 2001 or something, I came like top 100. I was only about 18 because I had like Leeds players and I had a really good, but I didn't know anything about FISO and I just used to call up and do your transfers and stuff. But I had a really good season. If I'd have put a bit more effort into it, and well, the internet was sort of kicking off then when it sort of thing, but you still couldn't find out lineups and stuff. It's not like how it is now, is it? Where you've just got everything at a touch of a button, ain't you? Sort of thing for lineup. So you do things like you do your transfers and stuff, and then you think, oh, actually, someone's out for 3 weeks, but I didn't have a clue. Whereas now you know every single detail, don't you, about every club? So yeah, those were the days.
Yeah, that's it. We're flooded with info now, aren't we?
Yeah, too much sometimes. You get on a Saturday on Twitter and they're like, Robertson's going to be out and Trent's going to be, and you're like, and I even made the mistake because I went out on Saturday for a few beers. I had a Man City sort of lineup, and I took them out for Trent and Robertson, and totally forgot, to then cancel it when they weren't playing. So I'm like, oh, what's an empty? So it's just, I don't put as much time in as I should, and it shows from a ranking, really.
To be fair, Dan, that probably saved you a few points this week.
Maybe, yeah. And Liverpool still play midweek, so still a bit of hope there.
Yeah, not too bad.
What rank is your best team this season, mate?
Let's have a look. I did have it just this afternoon. So 1,328th, and that's a sort of, I think I have got up to about 600th or so.
Yeah.
But I just do the classic, like someone's in good form, I bring them in, then they don't start. I think I had at the start, I had Grealish, then I went on to Mahrez, had Foden. I had a sort of every Man City player that went on a scoring run. I had them when they weren't scoring. I don't know. I did start off with Antonio, and he got a few goals, but just I had Bruno Fernandes at the start, held him for maybe a bit too long. I then got rid, and now he's been all right, and I've got him back. But I just don't know things like I brought Traore in early on, and he weren't really doing anything, and I had him for about 3 months. And I think, what did I have him for? And I was really late to get onto Bowen. Just anything. If someone's going to go on a barren run of form, I've just brought him in Sun. I just can't get the hang of it.
Is that Dennis down there? Don't tell me you brought Dennis in when he got sent off.
Yes, I had him for that. Yeah. I've gone on the FF stuff grid, like with your team sort of thing, and I remember that I did have him because I had him in Sky as well, and I did bring him in as the one little yellow blob here, Dennis, and then straight out for Kane. I had the money to get him out for Kane, but I had Lukaku and anyone who just not done anything I've had just for too long. So yeah, do you know what I mean? I do listen to the podcast, but I need to really get into it, put some time in the summer, and because I always find like if I'm 1,000s, 2,000s by about November, I do sort of think, well, that's sort of it really, and don't give it the effort I should.
Yeah.
You should keep trying when you're around 2K. That's still good rank. Like I've proven this year with my pod team, I've got it up to 400th now. And that was well behind before. It was like, in our mini league, it was like 50 off. Now it's like 11th, I think.
I always, and like say, because you get your 10 teams and I do all 10, the problem is I make them too similar. so I've got all my eggs in sort of one basket sort of thing, and I should just stick to keeping like a sort of limit Liverpool sort of pretty much block Man
Yeah.
City like and keep, because I'll do the same moves in all my teams. Then all my teams doing rubbish. Whereas at least if they were a bit different, I have got more permutations and stuff like that. But and always at the start I get too obsessed with the price rises. So I don't know, if I've got Kane and he ain't scored for the first couple of weeks, I think I'm going to take him out because he's going to drop 0.3, and I'll do that, and then he'll score a couple of goals that weekend, and you're like, oh, I have saved some money, but I just cost myself like 28 points. So
Yeah.
I need to just get the prices out of my head, sort of thing.
I was just going to say, I bet a few people took Kane out this week with Man City up next because he would have been going down in price.
Yeah, I ain't got him in Skies sort of thing, but I have got him in my Sun team. So I was pretty happy. I wasn't expecting any goals yesterday, so for him to get a couple of goals and that, so happy with that.
Definitely.
What would you say the best transfer you've made this season would be then, Dan? Anything stand out?
I can't think of anything that stands out. Like I had Trent. I've had Trent the whole way through. No, not really. I can't think of anything I'd done, and I thought, yes, what a move! Like it's the opposite. Like I'll have things like I had Mahrez, then I'll get rid of Mahrez, and then he'll start doing a blinder, and you're like, I just messed about. I had Bernardo Silva, I had Fernand Torres. Do you know what I mean? Then he's injured. Then I swap with, I just dodge points. I can't. I'm amazed the team's as high as it is, really, because I think I'll get all my sort of bad luck out of the way in Sun, and that's why I seem to do all right at Sky.
Brilliant.
You've done all right with Salah, Kane, and Bowen this month. You brought them at the right time.
Yeah. So I brought Kane back at the end of last month. I brought him in for Dennis. I had Jota. For a while. When Salah went, I brought Jota in, and I recently brought Salah back. And brought Bruno Fernandes in a couple of weeks ago. So not been too bad. De Bruyne I got, but he ain't really done too much as the last couple of weeks. But yeah, no, I can't think any there's no one sort of unsurprising I've had really, but it's just getting them points on the board early doors in it and being up there sort of thing. And I always find it is hard to catch up really with the top 100. Like I look at like FF stuff, he's right up there, and he's good sort of 200 points more, got more than me, and he's just I ain't going to claw that back. So as I look at his team, and they're not too dissimilar to mine.
Yeah.
So that's where I struggle with it.
The season you finished third. How much money did you win for that?
That was 20k for third. Yeah, that was 23rd. That was that was Suarez, Bale, Hazard. Hazard was unreal. I kept that was 12-13. So I think that was still transfer windows where you'd have like 3 a season. I think, and that was when Hazard got the ban for kicking the ball boy.
Oh yeah, against
and he's going to miss. But I kept him in, and everyone else sort of in that top 10 took him out. But I kept him in. Even when he came back, he was just firing again, so he did all right. I think I even had Kone or Wigan, because Wigan got to the cup final that year, and I had Kone, and he was doing all right. And I have said this before, but I didn't have Walcott, and this is hard to believe for some people, but Walcott was on fire towards the end of the season. So was Nani. And I remember I think I was about 5th at one point on the last day. I had Sorensen in goal, and Stoke managed to keep a clean sheet and got man of the match. And Walcott, everyone had Walcott, and I flicked onto Newcastle, Arsenal away at Newcastle, and I flicked on the last minute, see him going clean through, and I thought, oh my God, he was going to score, hit the post, came out, and I'm like, and then I was then searching the Sun website, saw Sorensen had man of the match, and I was like, with them points, Walcott nothing, and I knew I'd got third. But that was like 3rd, 4th, and 5th was pretty tight. First was miles away, but yeah, I was only ever going to come third. I was just too far behind the top 2. But yeah, those were the days.
Brilliant story, isn't
it? I bet I can guess which was your worst transfer this season.
Yeah, Dennis.
Yeah.
Yeah, not good, mate. Not good, is it? No, he was couldn't wait to get him out. He was literally he's probably the shortest player I've had in my team, like length of time, straight in and out the next week.
He's only going to score this week as well, isn't he?
Yeah, I know, but he's gone, forgotten about.
You weren't one of the only ones. I think a lot of people in the top 100 that week. How many was it, James? Do you remember the figure?
There was 3 or 4 in the top 100 who put Dennis in.
Yeah, really punted. Even that high up, taking that punt.
cheap though, wasn't he?
Yeah.
He was playing well as well, on fire.
He had a cracking run of fixtures as well. If he didn't get sent off.
Yeah. No, they did. Yeah, because I had him in Sky because he had great fixtures and stuff. So yeah, just typical in it. I just knew that was going to happen. It's probably like a bit of a, what do they say? Like the Nigerian, or see all them when people on Twitter sort of saying they're going to curse Watford and stuff. And you think that's probably a bit of karma, isn't it?
Yeah.
Really, that they didn't release him and then he got sent off and didn't do anything. So
Yeah.
there you go.
How's your mini leagues going? You got any good ranks going?
I'll quickly load it up on my phone. Bear with me a second. But no, not really. So I don't do too many. I'm in your cash league, but nowhere near. Let's have a look. In the FISA one, I'm on 15th. So that's not too bad. Your one, 47th in yours. Not good. What's your leader got? 1819. And what am I on? 1819. 1593. Do you know what I mean? Miles off, like 300 points behind. So terrible. But luckily, as it always works out, I haven't put the best team into the leagues.
Yeah.
But I still wouldn't be near like the people, the standard that you got at the top of your league. Just Fergie up there, Innie, and Dan Sherwood, he's good as well. Just miles behind, mate.
Are you still fiddling around with all your teams?
No, I literally will just concentrate as it sort of goes month by month as they're getting further and further behind. I'll then just concentrate on like the top 3 or 4, and just sort of just forget about the rest really. And because I don't do a lot of cash leagues now, like I did yours more as a donation to you guys and stuff, and whoever else is playing, but I didn't have any, ambition to win in that and stuff. I only entered 6 leagues. Maybe if I did that, because I'm pretty money orientated, so I don't really play FPL. I like Sun and Sky because of Sun and Sky, I pretty much paid my house off and can look after my family. Do you know what I mean? So maybe if I did put a bit more money into it, I would spend the time on it. But I had a bad start, and I think I've probably spent about 30 quid on mini leagues, and I could just write that off with a Sky. I'll probably spend 500 quid or so. So that's why I'm a bit more invested in that. So but I do need to sort it out because I still try to do Telegraph, FPL, but I want to really just do Fan Team, Sky and Sun next season and just drop FPL and just concentrate, because I always think I can't be good at everything. I know some people like my mate Paul McNulty. He's like second in the Fan Team half season thing. He's right up there in Sun. He's up there in Sky. So sometimes you just have that season where everything goes right in every game. But I do think I can't be good at all of them. I'd rather be really good at a couple of them. So I do need to just get rid of TFF and FPL, but I don't know.
It's the bug, isn't it?
Dropping them.
It is.
Yeah, that's it. Because you do, when the prices come out, you're like, oh, go on, then I'll do an FPL. Even now, I don't understand all this. I've got 2 free hits, a wild card, a triple captain bench boost. And I'm like, I don't know when I'm going to use all these things, but there we go.
The price changes are even crazier in FPL as well. Like just going up in the middle of the week.
And I hate it because. Do you know what I mean? If Sun, I don't mind Sun because it's done if they've the points to score in, and there's a bit of. Sometimes we do sort of moan that someone's gone down. You're like, it's mad in it because if Kane don't score for a couple of weeks, he could go down 0.6 mil and stuff like that. But FPL, why should a player go down because a load of sort of idiots are taking a player out and he's dropped in price? And I don't like it that I can't think of someone ahead Bowenos had cheap and he's gone up and up and up. So if I sell him now, I only get half that money
I don't
back.
get that.
So I can't sell him and then bring him back in. But yeah, and I sort of wish with Sun that you could do transfers any time to gain fixtures, because that's always my luck, and that's what the luck I gave with Sky with Sun, where I think, do you know what? I'm going to take out Mahrez, I'm going to put in De Bruyne, and I'll do that, and then Mahrez will score. You're just doing a swap for swap, aren't you, sort of thing. And I sort of need to get. Do you always use all your transfers each month? Because I could even think you don't have to use them, do you? No. Sometimes I just use them for the sake of it. But I sort of I better use them transfers, and I just don't know. I just really need to have a think about it, really. I need to have a word to myself because I played Sun since the 2000s and stuff and used to call up, and I've always smashed all my mates, but I've been rubbish the last 5 years. So I need to get back in it because it's just you just think, I just lost it. So I just need to. But then it was a different game that I came third into the game now because of the price rises and the transfers. But I just need to sort it out again.
I think it's just the focus at the start. I reckon what we should do, Dan, is we should get you on pre-season. We'll do a pod with you on, all four
Yeah,
of
I'll
us.
come on, yeah.
Joe, for the prep and the when we're planning to start the season. And if you fancy that, mate.
Yeah, that's fine with me because I could do with some help. I just need to just get back into it. Just need to have a word myself because it's unacceptable. I look at them ranks and just think that's just shocking, isn't it? Like a bit like embarrassing, you know. My son will be beating me soon. Like it's just it's
Brilliant.
no good.
Brilliant.
Have you got your kids playing fantasy football yet?
My youngest, he's only 7,
All
but
right.
he'll sit down and he writes all because he'll look at the team and like because it's Sky mainly, and he's like, "Did you have Salah captain yesterday?" It's like, "Yeah, he had Salah," and he's like, "Oh, lovely job, goal," and this and that, and you're like, "Yeah," and so he'll be playing as soon as he gets to 18.
Yeah.
He'll be playing. So I'm going to train him up. He's the next generation.
Brilliant, mate. Brilliant.
You can get him practicing on FPL. That's all right for kids to play.
Don't know if I'll get him into FPL.
know,
I'm
yeah.
better off just getting him to do Sun and just have you pick a team on paper and we'll do it like that or something. Because I wouldn't want him to enter a team and then can you imagine if he actually wins it and you're like, then you get disqualified because he's underage and stuff. So
That'd be devastating, wouldn't it?
yeah. So I think we'll just wait till he's 18.
Right, excellent. Well, it's been good to have you on, Dan. Great
Cheers
little
for
chat,
having us, mate.
Great little chat there. You're the first of the Meet the Manager segment, so you've set the precedent.
Lovely job.
Really good to have you. Great chatting with you, mate.
Cheers, mate. So anyone listening, you can have some proper chat about Sun now for people who know what they're doing.
Cheers, pal.
Want to give his
Nice one. Take it easy, mate.
pod a plug?
Oh,
Yeah, if you play Sky,
Yeah.
or if you don't and you want to have a play at Sky, I've got YouTube or it's on Apple and Spotify, Sky Bite Size. I try to keep it short, 15, 20 minutes, and literally just go week by week. And I do things like I just had the overhaul. So I try to keep it pretty simple, and I don't like to say, this is the team, I'm doing this, and you should do this. I just try to like talk through things, what you should do, and you either sort of, you can get into it, you can't, some like me at the minute with Sun just can't seem to get in it. But yeah, if you want to play Sky, give us a follow in there and on Twitter, and I'm happy to have a chat with people and stuff if you want to get into that. So that's 50 grand for winning that, so
yeah,
that's worth doing.
definitely. Yeah, anybody who like plays Sky or is going to play Sky, definitely this is the man to be watching. Top Sky player.
Yeah, they're the games you want to be playing. Sky, 50 grand for the winner, 75 grand for the winner of Dream Team.
And then obviously fan team rather
Yeah,
than
fan team as
FPL.
well, yeah. Big prizes. FPL, you win a baseball cap, don't you, or something like that.
Stress ball, pencil case. I think you get a trip to. I think you do get a VIP trip to a ground and stuff, but you can't pay the mortgage and go on holiday with that, can you? So that's why I don't bother. And it's 8 million people play that.
No.
Like, it's just and people are. I know I don't want to slag them off, but people are happy with like a top 50k finish, aren't they? And I'm just don't really do it for me.
Yeah, it's true, mate.
Cheers, Dan.
Right. Yeah.
Anyway, boys, enjoy the pod, and I'll listen to the rest of this when you put it out.
Cheers, Dan.
Cheers, mate.
Mate.
Yeah.
See you later, mate. So we'll move on to the list of questions. First up, Connor. He brought in Elise at Crystal Palace, and he's currently stinking up my team. Would you get rid ASAP with my mass transfer, or would you keep it up for the best when his next games are Burnley and Stoke at home? James, what do you think of Elise?
Well, I mean, he looked quite lively on Match of the Day.
did.
I thought he looked really good, and he's only a cheapie. I mean, if you've got the funds to upgrade him, then by all means do it. I would keep an eye on see how he performs against Watford on Wednesday, and then make a decision. But you've only just got him in, so you haven't really given him a chance, and he's only a cheapie. I put him in my second highest team, and I'm a bit annoyed as well. But keep an eye on him on Wednesday and make the call after that, I think.
Ben?
Yeah, I think he's a good enabler. In the last 7 games, he's got 2-star man, 3 goals and 4 assists. And he didn't play in one of them games against Brentford. You think he came off the bench? I mean, he didn't start the game. So, yeah, if you can afford to upgrade him, yeah, maybe to a Diaz or something like that. Louis Diaz from Liverpool. But yeah, I don't mind him. I think he's all right. I think he's got good fixtures. Got, like you said, watch him against Watford midweek. Then you can decide whether to chance it against Burnley and Stoke. But I don't mind him. I think he's all right for the rest of the month.
Yeah, he's not somebody I've been rushing to, after seeing his performance the other day against Chelsea. He's a very, very good player.
Yeah.
We discussed him, didn't we, on a last pod
Yeah.
before about how good he is. And they basically stole him from Reading. I think you might have to deal with a little bit of rotation. But I think Vieira knows. He's so talented. Like when he's on the pitch, he's involved in quite a lot of what Crystal Palace do. He's a little bit like Gallagher. They have they obviously got Benteke, Edouard, Zaha, Mateta, Ayew, Elise. You could even probably throw Gallagher into that mix with how far forward he plays.
Did you say Eze?
Eze as well, yeah. I mean,
Did you say
there's a lot
Saha?
of there's a lot of options. He's got a lot of options up there.
Ridiculous amount of options.
But at least every time he's on the pitch, he's showing why he should be starting or he should be definitely involved. He's not someone, like you say, he's an enabler as well.
Yeah.
And the stats that Ben's just rounded off, he'll get his fair share of points for that money, definitely. I'd hold, definitely. Like you say, Watford next, James said, and then Burnley and Stoke. Yeah, you can't be getting rid of someone when their games are like that. Hold, Connor. Just gotta ride them little bits of rotation out. So it's same as what we're gonna do with like Mahrez and the likes. Next up, Parley. When is the time to start making transfers to protect the lead in the mini league? It still feels too early. Ben.
Yeah, I wouldn't worry too much yet. Still early doors. Just keep picking the best players with the best fixtures. If there's someone, maybe if your rival has somebody and you're worried about him though, and you think he's going to go big, you could bring him in to protect yourself. But just concentrate on your own team. Keep picking the best players with the best fixtures.
Yeah, James.
Yeah, Ben's nailed that one. I wouldn't be looking at trying to. My mate calls it cock blocking. He says you've cocked blocked me, which I always find quite amusing. But I wouldn't be doing that until 6 weeks, maybe a month to go. But like Ben said, if there's one, if he's got a player that you fear, I don't see any reason why you shouldn't bring him in, because if you're fearing him for a reason, you must think he might be able to go big. So I think that's okay to do that.
Yeah, it's like a little bit of a checklist, isn't it? It's like, so if you look at you're looking at a player, you're looking at some fixtures further down the line, you're thinking to bring a player in, and you're thinking, should I, shouldn't I, or maybe you're deciding between two players that are probably you're thinking might bang. You look at the guy below you, if he's got one of them, bring it in. That makes your decision up for you. So say you were choosing between Salah and Kane, you didn't know you can only have one of them, and then you're thinking, oh God, they both got good fixtures, they're both on form. What's going to decide this for me? And you look below you, and the guy below you's got Salah. He's not got Kane. Like, you can bring in Salah. It's a safer option. But yeah, you don't have to start doing that yet. Just like Ben says, just pick the best players. And you need to have a really decent lead. Just extend your lead. If you're at top of the mini league, you're doing things right. So
yeah,
just carry on doing it. But yeah, we will probably touch on it, Paul. Like obviously, when it gets closer to the end of the season, we'll probably be talking about a lot of blocking and manoeuvres to cement your place at number one in your mini league. So just wait until we start chatting about that. Next question, DT Patrick. Is it time to consider dropping De Bruyne now he's not on pens, with an obvious option being Sterling for $1.5 million less? James.
Yeah, I think Sterling probably will provide better value, but I mean, De Bruyne he's capable of hauling. That's for sure. He does tend to play a bit deeper than Sterling, so I think Sterling probably is going to get you more points per million. Fernandez doing pretty well at the moment as well, isn't he? I think he's possibly a little bit cheaper. Yeah.
Ben?
I don't know. I like De Bruyne. I like keeping him in my team. Obviously, he's cheaper, and if it frees up 1.5 million for you to bring in another top player, yeah, you can do it. But De Bruyne will play more games than Sterling, I think, from now to the end of the season. He's got more chance of being in the team. Sterling's, but at the moment with the injuries, Man City, Sterling looks like he's nailed in there at the moment. But as soon as you got your Grealish, Jesus, there's another one, isn't there? That got so many. But while they're out, he's nailed in the starting lineup. So yeah, it can free up 1.5 million. But yeah, I don't dislike it. Yeah,
Like I say, if it allows you to get in another top player, if that is the difference, then it's a sensible move. But I'd like to be having De Bruyne on my side and then choosing between Sterling and somebody else, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But it's obviously it all depends on your team value.
It's like the other week I couldn't afford Maris, so I had to have Sterling, and it worked out all right for me in the end.
Did all right, yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. I think sometimes it's your hands forced, isn't it? I wouldn't drop De Bruyne because he's not on penalties, because to take the penalties away from him, he's still capable of hauling. He's a bit of a dream team darling. He's a star man magnet. If he plays well and he assists or scores, he's usually going to get star man. He's one of them.
It's probably worth noting that if Mahrez is not on the pitch, then I imagine KDB would be the man taking it.
Yeah, I guess so. Obviously, Sterling missed his last penalty, didn't he?
Sterling is terrible at penalty.
He is.
Absolutely awful. He is definitely not going to be, unless they're in a penalty shootout and they've got no win. I can't see Sterling taking a penalty. He took one the other day, didn't he? I know as soon as he stepped up, I thought he's going to miss this, and he did. He missed it. Well, the keeper saved it. It was crap, but he did knock it into the net. But yeah, no, he's not a great pen taker, is Sterling.
Yeah, I don't think he'd have been stepping up to that penalty if he weren't already on 2 goals.
Yeah, exactly.
I think someone would have ripped the ball off him.
He probably got in trouble for that as well, I imagine.
Possibly did, yeah. Yeah, obviously Mahrez with the penalties. Yeah, nice little 5 points for Mahrez, weren't it? Coming off the bench and getting a penalty.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Spurs.
And I'd probably rather keep De Bruyne and maybe go down the goalkeeper route like I did this weekend. Drop your goalkeeper down to a cheaper keeper. Then you still got a good 10 outfield players.
Yeah, if you're in need of that 1.5 million, the keeper's always a good option, isn't it? Because even when they're getting clean sheets, they're generally just getting 5s, aren't they?
Yeah.
Like your Edison and Allison and the likes. Keeper's ceiling is very low. Right, Andy Bruyne has been on. After the Spurs game yesterday, changing the landscape of the title and top 4 race, Chelsea have Man United in May. Man City have Liverpool and United. Liverpool have Man City, Man United, Arsenal and Spurs left that are tricky in the league. I think these 3 teams will now stop the rotation seen by Klopp yesterday. And I'm now seriously thinking of sorting out an even mixture of players from these 3 teams to set and forget from the beginning of March onwards and only make changes due to injuries or suspensions. Do you think this is a good idea? James?
No.
Very short answer.
No, I get where Andy's coming from. I think because with all the teams playing each other, you just have an even mix of them. I don't know. I still think you've got to play the fixtures, and we can make moves in between games, and some teams will have a double in a week, etc. So I wouldn't be just having 2 from United, 2 from Liverpool, 2 from City, etc., or 3 or whatever. I don't think you can simplify it quite like that. It's an interesting idea, but yeah, no, I don't think I'd be doing that. What do you think, Ben?
No, I don't know what your team is like now, but I just at the start of the month just look at your team and just do 2 or 3 transfers and keep 2 back for injuries. I wouldn't change my whole team to do to get like free Chelsea in, or obviously Chelsea's fixtures are decent, but if you've got free players in there that you want to get rid of, yeah, bring in Chelsea if you want to. But I wouldn't just overhaul my team. I'd just use the transfers wisely, basically. Look for the double game week players. What do you think, Tony?
Yeah. I get what he's saying. I understand the logic behind it, but again, obviously at March, April, he's discussing the May fixtures. I mean, I think he kind of says a little bit himself there with the Liverpool fixtures in May. So in May, I've not checked the May fixtures, by the way, so I'm just going off what Andy says. But if Liverpool do have Man City, Man United, Arsenal, Spurs to play in May, I think I'd be more inclined to probably move away from the Liverpool players. Not so much like your Salah or somebody who just performs all the time, but would you be wanting, for example, two Liverpool defenders in that run? I mean, are they going to keep 2 or 3, even 4 clean sheets in that? It's probably not. Maybe 1 or 2 if they perform really well at the back. I think you've got to just, like Ben says, you've got to play the fixtures. You got to still just carry on what you're doing month to month, March, April, May, and just section them. Read Ben's fixtures before each round of transfers and plan for that, because it's about having the best fixtures. Because there you mentioned, so Chelsea have United in May. So if Chelsea only, if discussing through them 4 or 5 teams that are discussing there, if Chelsea only have United in May, I've not looked at May's fixtures, but it'd be somewhere where I'd be thinking, well, actually, I'll probably jump on a block Chelsea in that month, because actually it sounds like they've got a decent run in.
Yeah, I've just pulled the fixtures up here, and they've got a beautiful run all the way through to the end of the season.
Yeah, I mean,
with Man U in there.
So rather than mixing and matching between, I get it of having the top players from each top club, but sometimes it don't quite work like that, especially that Liverpool's run. James, you obviously being a Liverpool fan, have you actually looked at that end of running for Liverpool? So obviously now with City dropping points against Spurs, it has opened it back up a little bit now. If you're looking at Liverpool going on and challenging City in that last month, are you sweating a little bit with them fixtures?
Well, no, not at all. I'm unless I've missed the point. I mean, April, May looks all right. Apart from obviously we're away at City. Nothing else in that run scares me. I mean, Spurs, they seemed, well, they look pretty good yesterday, didn't they? But yeah, nothing in that scares me. Going away to City, that's a massive fixture now, obviously, in sort of end of the first week in April. Apart from that, yeah, no, nothing scary in there. Why do you think there is?
Them Arsenal Man United games are in March, but yeah, I think you'll beat them 2 teams. So
yeah,
we've also got the FA Cup later rounds to come in here and Champions League. So teams will have more fixtures than others. So
yeah,
it's going to change the landscape.
Yeah.
Like I say, European fixtures, cup fixtures, play it month to month.
Rearrange games as well to be put in. Still 7 games not been rearranged yet.
Spurs are how many games they played? Like 22 compared to people's like 25, 26.
Yeah,
is that where they're at?
They've got 3 games to be they've had 2 games rearranged, been put in, and they've got 1 more against Arsenal. It hasn't been rearranged yet.
I mean, even without European games, because Spurs miss so many, they're actually doing all right on the fixture count front.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, that result yesterday for Spurs, I mean, massive. I think I've got Kane in nearly every team. So I'm really happy with that. And I'm a little bit known as a bit of a plastic City fan as well. I tell you what, I fist pumping them Harry Kane's goals. My missus said, like, I thought you were a bit of a City fan. And they're giving it, come on, Harry. Yeah, obviously my fancy football clubs are way ahead of my my admiration for City. So at least that one's out.
My pod team was the only team without Kane in, and I was like on the group, should I bring Kane in or Son? And I ended up going for Kane, didn't I? But I had to do it with a goalkeeper to facilitate it.
Yeah. But that was Edison you took out, weren't it?
Yeah, Edison I took out because I thought he only had 2 games left because I don't think he'll play in the cup.
No, you'd be playing Stefan Morley, so
Yeah.
decent move all around, really. That.
So far, so good.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, Andy, just keep playing it month to month, mate. I know you're doing quite well. I know your team's quite high, so just steady up. Play month to month. Play how you're playing it. Don't change. Right. There's no name on this.
Jason Jones is the next question.
Right, sorry. Yeah, missed it. Jason Jones on Twitter. He's been thinking Yotta or KDB, who's not on pens, so he thinks he can go. Obviously, we just discussed KDB and penalties. Any thoughts on his team? I'll stick his team up on the questions image for anyone listening on YouTube. Anybody on the Patreon, Spotify, here is his team, which is Allison, Trent, Cancelo and Robertson, Bowen, Sterling, Bernardo Silva and De Bruyne, Salah, Yotta and Son. What's the thoughts on that, James?
Well, he's got enough money in the bank to have done Yotta to Kane, but if he'd have done, I would have. Ideally, you would have done that on Thursday, but that's hindsight, captain hindsight, isn't it? So, yeah, I mean, I would only take Jota out if he's injured. Also, you might get some more injury news later in the week from Klopp, but if he's not going to be playing in the cup final next week, etc., then yeah, you've got enough money to move him to Kane with a bit to spare. So I would probably do that move, and then when Jota comes back, potentially you could switch Jota, change Son to Jota. So you've also got enough money to do that as well. So that would be what I would do. So yeah, if he's out, just use the one and save the other transfer in case there's injuries near the end of the month or something.
Yeah. Ben, just, sorry, before you go, Ben, he's got 1.7 million in the bank. His team's positioned around 200-ish. He's got 2 free transfers as well. 2 transfers left.
Yeah, I totally like that move that James just said about Jota to Kane and then Son to Jota later on. Maybe you could go with 4 Liverpool defenders at the back. So he's got Alisson, Alexander Arnold, and Robertson. He could do Jota to VVD Van Dijk. But about that, but I like James's move too. So yeah, what do you think, Tone?
I've fully on with what James has just said. I think the Yotta to Kane, Kane's main man there.
Yeah.
He plays every game. They obviously won a trophy. I think Middlesbrough Cup?
Yeah.
United's Conquerors. I think Kane will play that game.
Kane plays every game, doesn't he? That's the great thing about him.
He plays every game. He's on penalties. They've still got a game to put in. I don't think they're going to miss a double game week for a while if they can squeeze that game in somewhere. I don't know if there's an opportunity in March, but basically Spurs have got a lot of games. They're one of the highest fixture counts, so a double up for until Yotta's back wouldn't be that bad of an idea with Kane and Son. Did he not? Was it not 2 assists from Son to Kane as well?
Yeah. Well, one was Kulusevski, but yeah, 2 assists.
Yes. Sorry. When Son assisted Kane, they were kind of like they were loving the air again. You see him in front of Spurs fans. They were kind of like they I don't know. They'd clicked. So maybe that's a sign of things. I think that result has got to push Spurs on now. It's a massive result away at City to go and win that. Yotta to Kane, you got the money. For me, I'd leave De Bruyne in there. I don't see any reason to get rid of De Bruyne. He scores a hell of a lot of dream team points. So yeah, James, you spot on with that, mate. Jota to Kane, and then obviously, well, Jota's back fit and firing in that Liverpool side like he has been doing because he's been on fire. Jota, he has been really one of the informed players getting back in for Son. Next up, Marty Beasley. Short, simple question. Jump on Chelsea defenders? Question mark. Ben.
Yeah, totally. If you've got some dead wood in your team, jump on the Chelsea train. Great fixtures now. Obviously, a difficult game next weekend against Liverpool. But then after that, they've got Luton midweek in the FA Cup, Burnley, Newcastle, Lille, Norwich. Goes on till the month after that. Just ridiculously good. And they've got 2 games to be rearranged as well. So, yeah, against Arsenal and Leicester. But plenty of fixtures.
Yeah. Plenty of good fixtures as well, aren't there?
Yep.
James?
Yeah, I think jumping on Chelsea defenders is not a bad idea. I mean, if you look at the current set of fixtures, though, I would say the ideal time to jump on would be the 12th of March. Because this week they've got Liverpool and Luton. You don't know which players are going to be playing against Luton. Next week they've only got a single game week, at the moment at least, unless they put another fixture in there.
Yeah.
So I would probably jump on about the 12th of March, and then they've got Newcastle, Lille, Norwich, Brentford, Southampton, Leeds. It doesn't get much better than that. So, yeah, that would be what I would do.
I think they're waiting to see how Leicester get on in the Europa Conference League, and they might be putting it in that game after the Burnley game.
Yeah.
But if Leicester go through, then they're going to put Arsenal in there, I think.
Right. Yeah, if they have a double game week, not this coming week, the one after, I would jump on then. But otherwise, I would wait till the 12th of March.
Yeah, fully sensible. If that stays a single, then I don't think there's too much harm then to wait until the 12th, like you say, James, the Newcastle and the double back to back with Lille. I jumped on a little bit earlier in teams, like just because I think the Liverpool block were damaging me so much because I already in some teams, like when you're only having two Liverpool players, it were harming me every clean sheet, even though I've got 2, like Trent and Robbo or Trent and VVD or Trent and Allison. I still didn't want a clean sheet, which is weird. So I thought jump on it early with the Lille game midweek. Obviously, Crystal Palace, they managed to get a clean sheet. To be fair, they went close so many times, Palace. They scabbed it, really. Scabbed the clean sheet. But I'm all set for going in on Chelsea. I'd like to see what's going on with Alonso at left back. Obviously, he's been playing Sarr there. Whether Sarr's going to carry on and keep playing in that left wing back role. I just want a few more pointers as to what he's looking at for the rest of the season, and then I'll be jumping in quite heavy. As well, I did touch on earlier Ziyech. That I took out Maddison in my best side and Bruyne Ziyech this weekend.
Great move.
Good move, Tony.
Yeah, I did.
You've been hanging on about him.
Yeah, I just bit the bullet. Like I say, it's hard sometimes to go different in your best side, but again with the Liverpool blocks and other things, I fancied Ziyech. If I hadn't gone for it and he got that Starman goal, I'd be devastated. So, and when he got his goal disallowed, the first goal he scored, I was devastated. I think he's pissing now. That's just my luck, that. But yeah, and I've watched the full game highlights. And I tell you what, he was impressive, really impressive, Ziyech. Just obviously, Elise had a really good game, but Ziyech for Chelsea, I know he was starting at right wing back role, but he had such an influence on that game, and his deliveries were unbelievable. Like we talked about his wicked left foot the other week, didn't we? And yeah, he's one to be watching definitely in the forward line whilst Mount's out. Obviously, he played with Havertz and Pulisic, didn't he?
Yeah.
Up supporting Lukaku. Weirdly, I think they're about 35 minutes in, and they've gone to speak to the reporter at the Chelsea game, and they said Lukaku's had a record low number of 2 touches in the first half so far,
Yeah.
and one of them was a kick-off. So
Crazy, isn't it?
At that point in the first half, I think it was about 35 minutes in, he'd had 1 touch.
Mm.
It was unreal.
I think he had 7 in the end.
Did he end up with 7?
Yeah.
Must have had a little flurry. He must have dribbled it.
He did a couple of keepy uppies to get his count up, I think.
They're literally like passing the ball backwards. When they get up, the wingers get up. They're not going and passing it straight into Lukaku. They're going back again.
They don't play to. They don't play
They're not
to
playing
his
to his
strengths.
strengths, no.
Definitely not. But if he needs to alter his game. If they're going to be playing with these wingers, and you've got that service from Ziyech, which is unbelievable on that line, on that outlet. I mean, he needs to alter his game and say, "Do you know what? Actually, I'm just going to sit off a little bit and make these runs into the box to get on the end of these balls in." Rather than he's always looking for a through ball. He's always looking for a ball to feet and to hold it up and stuff. But it's just still not working for him.
Well, it's the same as it was when he was at United. Mourinho was like saying he's not got enough pace up top. You know, he's never looked a slouch to me, but he couldn't adapt his game at United. I'm sure they must have tried. I mean, he's not a cheap player or anything, so
That's it.
he couldn't do it there. So if he can't do it there, is he going to do it at Chelsea? Unless Chelsea change their style to match him, which it doesn't look like Tuchel's willing to do.
No, it's just weird that if he doesn't fit into your style, I mean, they just paid 100 million for him, haven't they?
Yeah, crazy money.
You've got to try and make it work, but I just can't see it.
They'll be trying to replace him. It's in the summer with Haaland, but I expect.
I tell you what, I think they've got an absolute quality player in Bruyne, who's over on loan at Southampton.
Yeah,
he's
looks
unreal. For a young lad, he's got everything he has. He's going to be a top player. I mean, when they've gone and signed Lukaku for 100 million, what's when you've got that lad sat in your youth team, proved himself now. We could probably see Lukaku going back to Inter for 60 million in summer, and Bruyne probably playing up top. Like I say, or they'll go and get Haaland. Right. James Lee's been on. Hi guys, great podcast. Really enjoyed the show. Been listening for just over a year now, and I've since won my mini league last year and have a lead of 137 points at the top this season. Looking to March, who will be the best 3 midfield options for under 4.5 million. Luis Diaz has settled very quickly and he's very good price, but is it too soon to jump on him? Thanks and keep up the good work. Ben, midfield options are under 4.5 million.
Well, I'm going to give a shout out to the man you've just been talking about, Ziyech. 4 million. He's been playing a lot lately now for Chelsea. He's been brilliant, hasn't he? He's got 6-star man already this season. He's well up there.
Yeah.
Who do you think, James?
Oh, I don't know. Like Kulusevski of Spurs, 2.2 million. He might be worth looking at. 10 points this week. Still early days though, isn't it? So I don't know.
He's quite cheap, isn't he? He's 2.2.
He is quite cheap. He might turn into. I'm not sure I'm bringing him just yet, but I'm keeping it definitely at 2.2 million for a Spurs attacker. He can't be perform any worse than Moura has for me. So
Moura's such hot and cold. Like he's got 5-star mans this season, so he must have had some good games.
Do you know he's a good player, Moura? I like Moura. But the frustration, James, is it just seems like you put him in your team and then next thing you know he's dropped out and he's not playing much or he doesn't do much.
Yeah,
it's very much one of them.
He's always the one that they drop out the front three in it if they're going to play two up front.
Yeah,
that's it. As soon as Kulusevski got signed, and you're thinking that instantly that impacts Moura's game time, and obviously so he come on a couple of times, didn't he? And then now he's started the first game. To be fair, scoring a goal and assisting isn't bad away at City, so I can't see Kulusevski losing his place in the next game unless obviously they have a bit of a chop and a change, maybe in the cup or whatever. But yeah,
could be.
You're probably It could be, yeah. 2.2 million is so cheap.
Mm.
James, you're probably the best man to touch on with Diaz.
He looks good.
He does look good.
There's a lot of competition for places up front, though. So I think if you bring him in, you've got to expect him to maybe not start every game. But as with all of the guys we've got, the big men up front, big stars up front, they will generally come on at some point during the game and they can score at any point. So we saw that last year with Jota. He quite regularly didn't start, and then until he nailed the place down at least. And then he was coming on and scoring, and he looks great. This new guy Diaz, very impressed with him so far. Settled in really easily. I might bring him into. I've got him in one of my sides. I probably should have, if I wasn't drunk yesterday, I probably would have taken out Moira and put him in. But there you go.
I brought him into one of my fan teams and captained him.
Oh,
Did you? Whoa,
Yeah,
right, that is ballsy.
Nice little move. Give me a bit of a boost in one of the teams there. But yeah, I'm very talented. Like you said, Liverpool didn't start scoring until about 60th minute anyway, did they?
No, exactly. Yeah.
So it's one of them. He's only coming on for the last half hour. It doesn't really matter. And the talents that he's got is obviously he's pretty electric. He's a good player, very good player. And where, like you say with Jota last season, he'll come on, he'll score goals, he'll assist. Yeah, it don't matter. Probably more so. You've got a tired defence on it, you. Sometimes it pops up like that, them opportunities. So yeah, I don't think it's too early to get Diaz in. I think he's shown instantly he's pretty much suited to this league. He's a very, very talented player. I think he's going to do all right over here. Ziyech, what Ben said. Obviously got Bill at 3.9 million, who, after me giving him a bit of a... well, I pretty much wrote him off on After Hours pod. It's just, I feel like I need to go back and re-record that. But yeah, his stats before that game compared to Bowen's, we compared him, Bilva and Bowen on the After Hours pod for the patrons, and Bowen obviously won hands down, but then Bilva goes and gets himself a double goal haul, and yeah,
could have been a hat trick, couldn't it?
it could.
Goal got disallowed.
But yeah, shows it's up and down in it. Fancy football, forms up and down. But yeah, Kulusevski 2.2 million, Diaz 3.4 million, Ziyech 4 million, Bilva 3.9. I think nice little midfield there. Some differentials as well. I think, yeah, fill your boots. But yeah, cheers, James, and yeah, good to have you listening over a year. Bloody hell, makes us sound old, doesn't it? But yeah, cheers for your support. Thanks for listening. Right, the mini league top 10, the Dream Team Tonic Cash League. I think I dropped out of this last week, didn't I? Right, so we have obviously been doing the top 11 for quite a while, but we have put a bit of a ban on it. And typically this week, Ben, you sat in 11 for you, mate.
Yeah. Creeping up there now.
But yeah, you're getting there now. That's it. I think next week you're in there, aren't you?
Hopefully, yeah.
It is quite close between, I don't know, what is it? Well, even 4th and 5th now. We're pretty much dragged back into the pack. So it goes quite far down after 10th. A lot of people in and around there. So, James, if you want to do the pleasure, mate.
Yeah, and I've dropped. I will read out the list. I've dropped to 15th after some disastrous transfers. I got rid of Bilfa. Must have been listening to you, Tony, on the After Hours. Brought in Elise to fund Bilva to Mahrez, and it sort of worked, but not really, because Bilva's been doing pretty well. So
yeah,
dropped out of the top 10, down in 15th, languishing. But it's still quite tight down there. So I'm hoping to get back. So top 10, Henry Cartridge in 10th, Alex Cole in 9th, Anthony Sutcliffe in 8th.
Get in there, back up.
In 7th, Niels Koopman. In 6th, Niels Koopman. In 5th, we've got Heath Robson. In 4th, Fergie. In 3rd, Dan Sherwood. In 2nd, Steve Legg. And in 1st place, Alex Cole. There's some heavy hitters in that top 5. Whew.
Yeah.
Yeah, there is.
Oh, I'd just like to make a special mention to someone my heart goes out to this week. Jonathan Perro, who's had an absolute stinker. Most people are sort of looking at to, I don't know, 20, 30 points this week. Jonathan Perro got -2. And I'm looking at his side and I'm thinking, you've been pretty unlucky there. He's
Yeah.
so keep don't get disheartened, Jonathan. You've been in that top 10 for most of the season.
Do you know, Jonathan Perro, he were at the top very early, weren't he?
Yeah,
With Braveheart. I remember that was at the top for quite a few weeks as well.
yeah, he was up. He's been up there or thereabouts. But yeah, he's had an absolute mare this week. But he's not got a bad team. It's just he didn't have Salah or Kane up top, so he's got a couple of. He's got 2 -2s, a -1.
Yeah, I mean,
So he ended up on -2 overall.
you read out that team: Ederson, Cancelo, Diaz, Trent, Robbo, Bernardo Silva, Bowen, KDB, Foden, Ronaldo, Lukaku, -2 this week collectively.
Unlucky.
That is unbelievable. Unbelievable. Unlucky, Jonathan. I'm sure next week will be a better one. To be fair, we're only halfway through the week, mate.
Yeah.
You might rescue it, but yeah, Jesus Christ, that's hard luck. That's hard luck. Right, we jump over to the Patreon mini league, exclusive to our Patreon members, with T-shirts up for grabs, things like that. Ballpoint pens,
And a trophy.
trophy, obviously. Can you see that trophy behind me?
Yeah.
That's the Tonic,
Right in place.
the European trophy there.
And you don't like to mention it though.
No, do you know? I only mention it once every
Pod.
once every two pods. But yeah, so yeah, there's a trophy up for grabs, and we have had discussions. And of course, Ben, if you win, of course you win the trophy, mate.
Ah, brilliant.
That's your trophy, pal.
If I win it.
Yeah. So we'll have a quick run through the top 10. I'll be doing it, as I feature nowhere near it. Top 10, Connor Tobin in 10th. 9th, Paul Young. 8th, Sean Siddall. 7th, Andrew Barnett. 6th, very own James Fricker.
Yes, come on.
In 5th, Michael White. In 4th, Stephen Broughton. 3rd, Mr. Paul McNally. 2nd, David Dunkley. And top of the shop, numero uno, Ben Lee.
Come on, get in there.
With a nice little lead there, mate, of about 33 points.
33, yeah.
Yeah.
Stretched away a little bit. But yeah, again, big thanks to all the patrons who got involved, and thanks so much for the support and stuff. Anybody who's interested in getting involved, patreon.com/Dream Team Tonic. Loads more content there. Get on it, get involved. It's a good laugh. And we thank everyone for the support. Differential League. Yes, the Differential League. An update on the points for this month so far. The community flying high again this month. 38 points. Mahrez doing the business for him, and the total of 178 so far. Next up, we've got Fergie with a crazy punt this month with his Van der Beek punt, which has grabbed him 3 points so far. He's in second on 138 points so far. In third, me, Tony, I had picked Laporte this month. He's only got me 11 points so far, which leaves me on 113. And then we've had a change with a bit of a switch around at the bottom, which, do you know, James, it might work in your favour, mate, because you get second pick, because after the community, you always have the advantage. So, Ben, you're in fourth, but you had Robertson, who's got your nice, tasty 30 points this month, takes you up to 99 and off the bottom of the league.
Yes, finally.
And you've relegated James to the wooden spoon position with Daka, who's got 8 points.
He's done better than Dennis last month with 0.
Yeah, he has. He has. It's an improvement, and it's not the worst score of the month, really. So, but it leaves you on 93 points. So it is bunching up a little bit down there at bottom. I think us three are in a bit of a race, not to finish last. I think.
I think this
But,
community pick's getting a bit unfair because they're flying ahead now.
yeah,
Points.
I think we have to start handicapping them, aren't we? Because we make the rules, so we can change it, can't we? So we'll have a look into that if they're going too far ahead. But yeah, Mahrez has obviously smashed it for them. But although they did have a Bamiyang, didn't they? Not long ago, a couple of months ago, who got that -2 or something. So
But since then, they've had Bowen 39 and Maris 38 so far.
yeah, some might say they just picked well. But,
I think the best thing about Daka, 8 points. The best thing about Daka is his song, isn't it, Ben?
Samina rendition.
Patsundaka, oe, Samina mina sagagalewa. He comes from Zambia.
That's a goal scorer's song. That
They come with some cracking songs, the Leicester fans.
brilliant, love it. So that's all for tonight. Again, thanks all the patrons for supporting us. Thanks to everyone who listens on Spotify, who watches on YouTube. Drop us a like, subscribe, rate the video on Spotify as well. Obviously, hit them 5 stars. Get us bumped up on the old algorithms. But yeah, it's a pleasure to spend this Sunday evening with these two gents. So, and obviously Dan as well, who's been the first Meet the Manager this week. So, if you're interested in coming on and flaunting your team to us and giving us a bit of an introduction to your past on Dream Team, then drop us a message on Twitter at Dream Team Tonic. Drop us a message. We'll see if we can get you on one Sunday and you can have a chat with the lads. But yeah, really appreciate it. Been a good evening. Have a good wind week, and hopefully there's plenty of points for everyone. Cheerio, guys.
See you, mate.
Thanks, everyone.
Cheers.